Welcome to Club Buzz with DJ Locust. I hope you're excited. As far as opening hand goes, yeah, I like it. A little clunky, but we've got some good stuff in the hand. We got some good, what am I thinking of? We have some good wheel effects in the hand. That's what I should say. We're going to go and keep on this one. Let's go and get down Volcanic Island. You know what? Let's go and go for Porton. I think I like that. We're going to choose target player. Put them back in any order, and we're going to be able to draw a card off this one. Let's go ahead and make sure that I would like to make the land drop. So let's go and put Compulsive Research on top. Let's go for Wheel of Fortune. Let's put Polluted Delta on top of our library. No, I actually like exactly what we have on top. It's going to allow us to get a fresh grip with that Wheel of Fortune if we need to. If not, we can simply just hold on to that one and make the land drop for the turn, though. So let's go and draw into that Polluted Delta, and then we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We are playing the Locust God, flying. Whenever you draw a card, create a 1/1 blue-red and insect creature token with flying and haste. Then for a 4-mana activation, draw a card, discard a card. Then whenever the Locust God dies, return it to his owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Our opponent's going to get down Delver of Secrets. So let's go and get down Reliquary Tower. And actually, I don't mind drawing into that other card too. So let's go ahead and go for Lightning Greaves. It's going to be 1/2. And they'll be able to get down Polluted Delta next turn. Anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn. Playing it's Inalla, Archmage Ritualist. Imminence, whenever another... Let's go and let them do their... There we go. Whenever another non-token wizard enters the battlefield under your control, if Inalla is in the command zone or on the battlefield, you may pay 1. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that wizard. It gains haste, exiled at the beginning of the next end step. Then tap 5 untap wizard control. Target player loses 7 life. I don't know. Love that activation. Pretty fun. Let's go and get down Polluted Delta. And I kind of like what we've got going in our hand. So let's do this. Let's go and crack Polluted Delta. And I don't mind taking a little bit of a hit on this one. So let's go and grab Steam Vents. We're going to pay 2 on this one. Get our life total down to 26. Let's go and go for Compulsive Research. We're going to choose us, draw 3 cards. Then we'll have to discard a card unless we hit a land drop off that one. But Coliseum, Fateful Showdown, and Magma Quake. Let's go and get rid of 2 cards at this point right now. I'm going to get rid of Magma Quake. Actually, that might be really good without flying. Yeah, I think I kind of like Magma Quake on this one. Let's go and get rid of, at this point right now, we'll get rid of Fateful Showdown and Trinket. Well, actually, we can use Trinket Mage to grab, we could actually use Trinket Mage to grab Skull Clamp. I think I like that. So let's do this. Let's just go and get rid of Whirlpool Rider. Yeah, I'm okay with that one. And then anything else, we're going to pass the turn to our opponent. But yeah, I haven't played against Inalla in a long time. I think... Actually, I'm not entirely sure if I've played against her. I think I have, but I'm not sure if I put it out on the channel. But it's definitely one of those, at least seeing her reminds me that I need to build wizards, especially after I built an Adele deck or Adeli's deck, getting those wizards going. It's always kind of a lot of fun to build a Grixis wizard style deck. And then, and that's one of the things that, like, I'm a huge Sultai person. I love playing Sultai decks, but Grixis... Man, Grixis is where it's at. I like playing some Grixis when I'm not playing Sultai, but don't tell that to Muldrotha. She doesn't need to know. Let's go and get down Mountains. Just dumb. Let's go for Trinket Mage. Let's go and grab that Skull Clamp, because Skull Clamp is what really makes DJ Locust really happy. So we're going to use that ability. Let's go and grab Skull Clamp. Let's go and tap out for 1 mana. There we go. Get that down. And then let's go and put Lightning Greaves onto Trinket Mage. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we are looking at 5 total mana next turn once we get down Coliseum. If we want to kind of dig a little bit deeper into our hand, we can go for Wheel of Fortune. I'd love to have Magma Quake in this particular matchup, but our opponent's really they're off on red colors at this point right now. And they don't really have a ton of wizards on the battlefield. So Magma Quake is a nice card. But at this point in the game, we can definitely kind of get rid of it to hopefully get down Locust and kind of go from there. Now, we do have Lightning Greaves down. So that's something that we could actually tap out for Locust God and get it on there. And especially if our opponent's kind of going to be tapped out on mana, we don't necessarily have to worry about some sort of counter spell or something. And look at that. Got double Azure Mage coming across. Yeah, that's fine. Swinging it for 2, doing a trade on this one to protect our life. No, that's fine. Go ahead and swing it for 2. That's fine. All right, knock us down to 23. And then we draw into Desolate Lighthouse. Let's do this. Let's go and get down Desolate Lighthouse. And we could actually just Magma Quake for like 3. But we're not going to be able to put Skull Clamp on there at this point right now, since we do have that Shroud on there. Yeah, I think I like that. You know, if Delver ends up flipping, we're going to be able to stop it, but at least we'll get rid of both of these creatures and get rid of that activated ability of draw a card. So, and our opponent's tapped out too, so let's go and do that. That's going to be 1/2. That's going to be 2 damage to each creature. Actually, we just need to do it for 1. That's going to leave Trinket Mage on the battlefield. Yeah, we're just going to pay for 1 on this. And let's go and swing in for 2. It's going to knock our opponent down to 28, and then we'll go and pass the turn. See if they can't get that red source for that particular commander. But yeah, depending on what we draw into, more than likely we'll go for Wheel of Fortune. We do have Colosseum down, so actually simply just tapping out for the Locust God and then going for Wheel of Fortune after that would definitely be really good to go for that. With Tolarian Winds, discard all the hands and draw that many cards. That's one of those cards that's really great to kind of wheel into it, but unfortunately if it's in your opening hand and we're making our land drops and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to take advantage of it once it kind of gets into late game, or if you don't really have a ton of cards in your hand. But you can do some pretty good stuff with Tolarian Winds, doing it in response to like a something like Wheel of Fortune if you have a few more cards in your hand. Let's go and get down Colosseum. Yeah, we're going to get that down. Let's go and go for Locust God. I like that. Our opponent's tapped out. They have 2 mana. Might be a counter spell off those 2 treasure tokens, but we're willing to risk it at this point right now. Let's go and tap out for Locust God. Let's go and get Lightning Greaves over onto the Locust God. Let's go and shift those over there. Let's go and push in for 6. It's going to put our opponent down to 22, and then we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we're looking at about 7 insect tokens on the battlefield next turn. One of the fun things with the Locust God and Skull Clamp is that basically for 1 mana, you put it onto one of those creatures, it's going to be 2 more card draw, and you just really refill your hand so quick. One of the... opponent got down Vizier and made their own copy of the Locust God. All right, it's going to be it'll be an interesting matchup on this one because whenever they have that on there... stuff like Wheel of Fortune doesn't become one-sided anymore. But with Skull Clamp, hopefully we can kind of make it to where we have a little bit more advantage on our side of the battlefield. Okay, see what we draw into. Draw into Throne of the Pharaoh. And we get that insect token on the battlefield. Let's go and get down Mana Confluence. Do we want to equip Skull Clamp onto that insect token? Yeah, let's go and do that. Let's see what we draw into. I want to get as many cards into our hands as possible. So we're going to draw 2 cards off of this one. Coastal Piracy and Swiftfoot Boots. Okay. You know what, let's do this. Let's go and hold priority. Let's go for Wheel of Fortune. Now that we have a few more cards in the hand, we already have protection for the Locust God. I like going for this particular line. So we're going to go for Wheel of Fortune. And then in response to that, go for Tolarian Winds. It's going to give us a little bit of extra Locust insect tokens on the battlefield to kind of go for that. So we're discard our hand, draw 3 cards. Induced Amnesia, Windfall. Okay. All right. Let's go and get all these triggers on the stack. Always yield to these Locust triggers. Okay, and then let's go ahead and go for... Actually, we'll just simply go and go for Skull Clamp on one of these last tokens. Pay 1 red mana, get 2 more going. Okay, we actually draw into Kindred Discovery, so that's going to allow us to hopefully actually draw out our entire deck with that one. Let's go and push in with all of our insects on this one. Alright, so we're going to have 13 insect tokens coming across. They do have 8 insect tokens if they want to chump block on some of these, but at least we're going to start whittling away at our opponent's insects. And then hopefully if we can draw into some sort of one-sided kind of card draw, we can kind of go from there. If we want to, we can actually kind of shift the game into our advantage by simply going for Skull Clamp. That's going to make it to where we're going to be able to get those insect tokens on the battlefield faster than they can. Okay, we're going to chip away at our opponent's life total, knock them down to 18, and then anything else is going to kick the turn over. Now we do have Reliquary down on the battlefield. That's going to allow us to keep all the cards in our hand too. Now with Kindred Discovery, so here's the cool thing with Kindred Discovery and Locust God. Choose a creature type. Whenever a creature you control enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card. So basically what's going to happen is whenever insect enters the battlefield, we draw a card, and it's going to allow us to basically just end up with a ton of creatures on the battlefield. Now we do have a win condition with Kindred Discovery. The opponent's going to go for Gonti. Sure, go for it. And our opponent's going to tap out for Teferi. Getting that down, it's going to keep us off any sort of instant or sorcery action on our opponent's turn with Teferi on the battlefield. All right, and they did go for a Gonti trigger, exiling something from our library. Opponent's going to swing in for 4, and that will knock us down to 16, and then let's see what we can draw into. Drawn to Hour of Devastation. Okay, let's go and get Island down. Now with Kindred Discovery, it's one of those that if we have Impact Tremors, that's something that allows us to kind of close the game out, to kind of deal that extra damage, or something like Goblin Bombardment. But since we don't have that at this point right now, let's see how far we can dig into our library with some Skull Clamp activations. I may actually go ahead and speed this part up too. Okay, so I accidentally double-clicked. We were going to go for a few more insect tokens on that one, but I accidentally double-clicked the F2 button, so we're going to have to swing in with 7. That's really unfortunate on that one. Did not mean to do that. So we're going to swing in with 7 insect tokens. That will put some pressure on our opponent. They do have that 1 insect token to block on the Locust God. I will knock them down to 11. But unfortunately, yeah, that did happen. Let's see, how do we going to get out from underneath? So we have Jason Mind Sculptor. Let's still just go and get those insect tokens to protect us. That was unfortunately, it was a misclick on that one. Not a huge fan of that one, but hey, sometimes misclicks do happen on Magic Online. So let's go and choose one of the insect tokens. You can't really click through your combat step when you're playing in paper too. So let's go for Skull Clamp again. Okay, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass it turn to our opponent. So we could have gotten a lot more insect tokens on the battlefield on that one. Unfortunately, that does happen, but we did draw into Force of Will. So if our opponent does tap out for something, maybe some sort of board wipe or Cyclonic Rift, at least we do have some sort of backup to kind of counter them. And then we also still have something like Pact of Negation too, so we're actually sitting way okay. Oh, there we go, Cyclonic Rift. Let's go ahead and go for, oh, excuse me, they've got Teferi on the battlefield. Yeah, they're going to be able to take care of that one. We'll not be able to go for a counter spell off that. And that's going to send it back to the hand. And let's see what else they're going to be tapping out for. Duplicate, okay. And a duplicate will exile the Locust God on this one. But yeah, if Teferi was not on the battlefield, we would have been able to go for that. But actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not entirely sure why our opponent didn't bounce our entire board state back. I guess they simply just wanted to exile the Locust God or something like that. But we'll still be able to recast it. At this point right now, we've got a lot of flying options that should be able to close it out in the air. Push past on this one. So let's go and get the land drop down for the turn. Let's go for Manamo. Yeah, because we swing in for 13. They only have 2 blockers in the air that should be lethal. They only have 1 mana up. So, yeah, let's go and push in on this one. Should be enough insects coming across. But even if our opponent hadn't simply just used Cyclonic Rift to bounce the Swiftfoot Boots back to our hand, or Lightning Greaves, we still would have been able to close it out with a ton of insect tokens. So, and that should be exactly lethal, putting them down to 0. There we go, put them down to 0. You can pretty much see this is exactly what you want to be doing with the Locust God deck. Unfortunately, you know, our opponent did go for that Cyclonic Rift play. They could have bounced a lot of our stuff back, but we did have that turn where I accidentally kind of clicked through my turn. So, but you can see how explosive this deck is. I love playing the Locust God. If you haven't... if you think about building the Locust God, I always like to mention this during my videos. You definitely want to kind of... before you invest a ton of money in there, this deck is really, really one-sided. So it's one of those things to where you can get down the Locust God, start getting a lot of wheel effects going, and then try to close it out with insect tokens. So it's a really fun deck to pilot, but it may not be the best deck to be your #1 commander deck, simply because it's going to draw a lot of hate, and it's pretty much just the same path you're trying to get for that win condition. But it's really fun. But anyway, yeah, long story short, sorry for the weird edit, the video cut out. But yeah, long story short, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.